Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and I'm mathematics faculty here at askIITians. And today's chapter is construction, and this is lecture number 1 of this particular chapter. And as we do in every session, it's very important to go through the weightage of this particular chapter as far as your school examination is concerned and your Olympiad examination is concerned before we delve into the topics that we are going to cover, and like before we go into the detail of those topics, right? So if I talk about weightage, guys, if I talk about weightage, then in school examination, you can expect questions carrying around 3 to 4 marks from this particular chapter. And again, the questions are quite easy. They are based on the topics that we are going to cover. It's just that you need to practice a handful number of questions based on those topics to be able to get good marks. And if I talk about Olympiad weightage, then in Olympiad, this chapter is not that important, okay? And you can expect one question or at max two questions from this particular chapter. So it's not very important from Olympiad point of view. Understood? Not very important from Olympiad point of view. Okay, point of view. Understood? So more important from the CBSE or the school point of view, and it's not so very important from the Olympiad point of view. You can expect hardly one question or maximum two questions from this particular chapter. So let's see which topics are we going to cover in today's session. So these are the topics that we are going to cover in today's session. First is the basic construction. Like we use this construction in all the cases that we will be covering in this lecture and the next lecture that we have of this particular chapter. The first one is we will learn how we can draw the bisector of any angle. Okay, like we are going to learn angle bisector, which is easy. Like this topic I would rate as an easy topic. Okay. And then we are going to learn, if you are given a line, then how a perpendicular bisector of that particular line can be drawn quite easily. So that's what we are going to learn next. So this is again easy topic. The first two topics mentioned here are easy. And the next topic that we are going to learn is construction of triangle. Like if you are provided the base of a triangle and any one of the two base angles that we have, and apart from that, if you are provided the sum of other two sides, okay, let's say you are provided this base BC, you are provided this angle, and you are provided the sum of the other two sides, then how that particular triangle can be constructed. So that is going to be our second number of topic. And the second topic is an important topic. So I would say the first topic is easy topic. It has two subtopics in it. The second topic is important topic from the point of view of your examination, but overall the topic or this chapter is quite easy. Let's see how it can be covered, right? So first we have basic construction, and in basic construction the first topic that we have is angle bisector, how it can be drawn. Super easy, just remain attentive while I explain this particular topic to you. So here first I will explain what they have written or what's the logic behind what they are writing here. Okay, let's say here, if you see this figure, guys, we have to draw the bisector of this acute angle whose measure is 80 degree, or in other words, you have to bisect 80-degree angle here in this given situation. Okay, so we have step one. In step one, you have to take O as a center and draw an arc by any radius intersecting rays OA and OB at X and Y respectively. So what's your first case? In the very first step, what you have to do is you have to draw the angle which needs to be bisected, because the angle that we are talking about here is 80 degree, and 80 degree you can draw using protractor. So let's say this is my 80 degree, guys. 1 second. This is my base, let's say O, that's A. Okay, and this is 80 degree. Okay, this is B. Okay, and this angle that I have, this angle is 80 degree. Now what do I need to do? I need to bisect this 80 degree angle. So let me choose another color to show you that. So we need to bisect this 80 degree, and it's not only about 80 degree. Here we are learning how we can bisect any angle, not 80 degree, but any angle, how that particular angle can be bisected. That's what we are learning here. what you have to do is you have to assume O as a center. All right, assume O as a center. After that, you have to take your compass. On your compass, mark or measure any radius. Okay. And you have to mark an arc of any radius such that that particular arc will cut OA and OB at some point for sure. You can give names to the point of intersections. Let us say that this point of intersection you have is X, and that point of intersection you have is Y, right? So O is the point under consideration here, assuming O as a center. What we did, we drew one arc, and that arc intersected OA and OB at X and Y respectively, right? Now, what is the next step? Check out. In step 2, you have to take X and Y as center and draw arc which intersect each other at point C with radius more than half of XY. This point is very, very important. Okay. This particular point is very important. I'm mentioning here. What you have to do, or what is that one thing which you need to keep in mind so that you do not make error while drawing this. Okay. Let's say you are assuming X to be the center first. Okay. We are assuming X to be the center first. Then you have to measure more than half of this length XY. Okay. Let's say I'm measuring this much length on my compass. Then if I'm measuring, when I say more than half, then the only thing which needs to be, which we need to keep in mind, is that the length should be more than half. It can be any length which is more than half. Like for example, if let's say this arc length XY is 6 centimeter, then more than half means you can choose any value which is more than 3 centimeter. That will work in this situation. Okay. So yeah, assuming X to be the center, we have to mark an arc whose radius is more than half of this XY. So let's say this is let's say this is my first arc, guys. Okay. Then assuming Y is a center and the same radius of the arc that we chose while selecting X as a center, you have to mark another arc. Okay. And these two arcs that you have drawn, they are going to cut each other at one point. You can give a name to that point, whatever name you want to give it. I'm going to call it C here. Now we are almost done with 95% of this particular proof. All you have to do now is you have to join this point O that you have to this C, which is the point of intersection of this arc and this arc, and you will get the bisector of this particular angle. So using a scale, you have to join this O to this C, and automatically this acute angle which we were talking about here, that was 80°, it will get bisected. Bisected means this angle will be 40° and that angle will be 40° as well. So you got both the angles, or we are able, or we have bisected the angle which was given to us initially, that is 80°. I hope it's very clear to everyone. If you have any doubt in it, please ask me. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Please go through this entire topic once again. Is it done, guys? All right. Now, what is the second case we have? The second case, in the second case, we are going to learn how perpendicular bisector can be drawn of any line. Okay. So here the line segment that we have selected is AB. AB can have any length. Okay. It can be 4 centimeter. It can be 3 centimeter. Any value AB can have here. So first step is you have to draw AB, guys. Okay. And I am assuming here the length of AB to be 6 centimeter just for the sake of convenience, guys. Okay. So let's say this is my AB. Clear? So this is A, that is B. And here I have assumed this AB, it has length equals to 6 centimeter. Now, what do I have to do? I have to draw the perpendicular bisector of this line segment that I have, whose length is equals to 6 centimeter. So that means that line which we are talking about here, that must be perpendicular to AB. And at the same time, that line must bisect this AB. Both the conditions must be satisfied here. So how you have to do it? Check out. 1 second, let me choose another color. What you have to do is you have to take A and B as center and radius more than half of AB and draw the arc on both the sides. See, you choose, let's say you are selecting A as center. Okay. Now, what is the length of AB you have? The length of AB is equal to 6 centimeter. And what will be the half of AB? Half of AB, if you calculate, what will you get? You will get 1 by 2 times of 6, that is equal to 3 centimeter. Okay. So what you have to do is, if you are assuming A to be the center, you have to measure arc of radius more than 3 centimeter. That's what they have written here. Okay, this is an important point here, right? You have to choose an arc whose radius is more than half of AB, and AB is 6 centimeter here. So half of AB is 3 centimeter. That means the radius of the arc must be more than 3 centimeters. So let's say we selected that. And after doing that, considering A as a center, you have to mark one arc here above AB and one arc here below AB. Is that clear? That is your very first step that you have to do. Clear? After that, you have to assume B to be the center, and the radius of the arc needs to be same, or you do not need to change the radius of the arc that we selected when we went ahead with A, like considering A as a center. So assuming B as a center, you have to mark one more arc, like two more arc, one above AB and one below AB. Let's say this is one of the arc and that is the second arc. Okay. And you will observe that these two arcs that we have above AB and below AB, they are going to cut each other at a particular point, and we are going to give a name to that particular point. Let's say this point where they intersect above AB is C, and the point where they intersect below AB is D. Okay, so we got C and D. Now all you have to do is you have to join C and D using a straight line. If you do that properly, you will automatically get the perpendicular bisector. So I am joining CD here. Clear? Then this line that I got here, CD, this is going to be perpendicular to it. I'm going to call this foot of perpendicular here as M. And this CD that I have drawn, it is going to bisect AB as well. What does that mean? That means this AM that you have, it will be equals to MB. So that is what exactly you were supposed to show here. And if you choose any point, just to tell you one important point which might help you in competitive examination, if you choose any point on this line that you have CD here, then that point is always going to be equidistant from both the ends of this line segment AB. What does that mean? That means, let's say I selected any point here, that point is, let's say, P. Then the distance of that point P from this end, that is A of the line segment AB, and another end of the same line segment B, that would be same. That means here you are going to have PA is equals to PB, that you should keep in mind. Is that very clear? Like that's what, like that is the property of the perpendicular bisector and nothing else. So I hope it's clear. Please go through it and ask me if you have any query in this, guys. Done. All right. So now they have, now what we have to do is we have to construct an angle equals to 52.52 1 by 2 degree. Okay. So you have to construct this angle. I'm going to call this as angle X. So let angle X is equals to 52 1 by 2 degree. because we have to construct 52 1 by 2 degree. So first let us calculate what is going to be the double of this particular angle. Well, like we will get an idea of, we will get a good direction to do this problem actually. So if you multiply 2 by on both the side, you will get 2 times of angle x is equals to what? This is 52.5. If you multiply 52.5 by 2, what do you get? You will be getting 105 degree, right? What does that mean? That means if I bisect, that means bisecting 105, bisecting 105 will give 52 1 by 2 degree. Clear or not? That's an important point. But how to draw 105? So before we move into it, I would like to know whether 105 it's a multiple of 15 or not. Because if it's a multiple of 15, we can draw it using compass as well. So 105 is a multiple of 15, and we can draw 105 degree by bisecting 90 degree and 120 degree, because 90 plus 120 is 210 degree, and the half of 210 degree gives us 105 degree. Okay, so let me multiply it once more by 2. If I multiply it once more by 2, I will be getting 4 times of angle x is equal to 210 degree. What does it means? It means bisecting 210 degree, bisecting 210 degree will give 105 degree. So we have more than enough information that is needed to draw 52.5 degree. Let's see how we can draw it. So first, our goal is actually to make 90 degree and 210 degree, 90 degree and 120 degree, sorry. So let us assume any line segment here. Okay, let's say this line segment is AB. Okay, and assuming A as a center, I have to draw an arc of any radius. Okay, then assuming this point to be the center, the first arc is going to give me 60 degree, the second arc is going to give me 120 degree, and when I will bisect 60 degree and 120 degree, I will automatically get what you call as 90 degree. Let me redraw that. Okay, I will be getting 60, the bisection of 60 and 90 is going to give me 90 degrees. So this is 90 degree. Okay, now this is 120 degree, this is 90 degree. So if I bisect both of them, what will I get? If 90 and 120 is bisected, I'm going to get 105, I'm going to get 105 degree. Okay, so let us bisect it. We already learned how we bisect any angle. So let's say this is what it looks like. Clear? Then this angle that we have got here, this angle that we got here, this will be equals to 105 degree. Clear? Now what we have to do, we have to bisect. What we have to do, we have to bisect this angle 105 degree. If we bisect this angle 105 degree properly, we are going to get our required angle, which is equals to 52.5 degrees. Clear? So let us assume this is one of the center. Okay, you can, or let us assume this is one of the center, that is another center, or we actually considering A as a center, we have drawn an arc of any radius. I'm taking this as the radius for the better construction. Okay, then assuming this point to be the center, I'm going to call it x, and after that we are going to assume that second point to be the center, which is y. So assuming x to be the center, by taking more than half of the length of xy, that we learn how we bisect any angle, you have to mark one arc. Okay, assuming y to be the center, you have to mark another arc of the same radius. Okay, and you need to join this point A to the point of intersection of the two arcs that we have drawn. Okay, then this angle that we were having initially, which was equals to 105 degree, it got bisected into two parts. So each part will contribute to what you call as 52.5 degree, or you can say this angle will be equals to what? This angle will be equals to 52 1 by 2 degree. Is that clear? That's done. That's exactly what we were supposed to do in this problem. Go through it and ask me if you have any query. I will show you the steps as well as the proper figure in the next slide as well. Understood? Done? All right. So here you can see what they have done. They first constructed 105 degree with the help of compass and ruler. So I constructed 105 degree by bisecting 90 and 120 degree. That's exactly what they did. This is your 90 degree. Okay. This is your 90 degree. This is your 120 degree, and this angle is your 105 degree. Okay. Then what they did, they bisected this angle AOC with the help of compass and ruler, and let OB be the bisector of AOC. They bisected this angle, okay, by doing the exactly same steps, taking more than half of the arc length and then making two arcs which are going to cut each other at one point. And after that, they joined that particular point O to this point of intersection, and thereafter they got their angle, which is 52 1/2 degree. And that's exactly what we were supposed to do in this problem. Clear? So here it mentions the steps of construction as well. I suggest you all to please go through these steps of construction thoroughly, as they can ask you this in your examination also. All right. All right. Now we have construction of triangle. This is quite important. Okay. I would say it's an important topic. Important topic. All right, so we are going to learn construction of triangle in the different cases, guys. And in this lecture we are going to cover one of the case which is right in front of you. Like when you are provided the base, okay, you are provided a base angle, and you are provided the sum of any other two sides of the triangle, then how that particular triangle can be constructed. That's exactly what we are going to learn here. So I will, like, we have mentioned all the steps. In the next slide, I will keep on showing you the figure as well, at the same time explaining what needs to be done. After discussing this, we are going to learn how, or we are going to take an example to apply this concept. Okay. So what we have to construct a triangle PQR. In triangle PQR, you are provided the length of QR, which is equal to a centimeter. You are provided angle PQR, that's equals to x degree. We don't know what x is. X could be any angle. Okay. And PQ plus PR, the sum of other two sides, is provided to be B centimeter. And that's exactly what this topic says, isn't it? So what you have to draw first, you have to, in the very first step, you have to draw the base QR, which is equal to a centimeter. And you can see in the next slide what they have done. They have first drawn this base QR. So let me show that to you. Okay. So this is QR. And what's the length of QR? QR is provided to be a centimeter. And that's exactly what they have done here. All right. What does step number 2 says in this case? Step number 2 says that you have to draw angle XQR, which is equals to x degree. Sorry, PQR, which is equals to XQR only, not PQR. P we will mark later on. XQR, which is equals to x degree. So that x degree can be any angle. It could be 45, it could be 60, it could be 75, any angle. But here we have taken a generic value to make you understand. Okay. So after that, we have to draw angle XQR at point O. Okay. So let's say this is your XQR. Clear? That's your X. And this angle that you have is X degree. Understood? Now, what we have to do, mark an arc S. You have to mark an arc S on QX, such that QS is equals to B centimeter. How we got this B centimeter? Basically, you have to look at the sum of the other two sides which are provided to you. Okay. So here the sum of other two sides which is provided to me, that's equals to B centimeter. So I have to actually mark that arc equals to B centimeter. Okay. So what you have to do, let me show you using different color. You have to assume Q as a center. And assuming Q as a center, you have to mark an arc whose length is equal to the sum of other two sides of the given triangle. And here that particular length is provided to be B centimeter. So assuming Q as a center, we have marked an arc whose length is equal to B centimeter on this QX. Is that clear? That's what we did. Right? What does next step says? Next step says that you have to join RS. After joining RS, you have to draw the perpendicular bisector of RS such that it intersect QSSP. So let me show you both the steps here. What needs to be done? So now what you need to do, you need to join this point. We called this point S. So you need to join this RS using a ruler or a scale. So we join this RS, and the step that we are going to do now is super important. It's one of the most important step as far as this construction is done. We already learned how perpendicular bisector of any line can be drawn. So we are going to apply that exact same concept here. We have to draw the perpendicular bisector of this line segment that you have, that's equals to RS. So again, let's say first I am assuming R to be the center, R to be the center, and taking more than half of length of S. This is my one of the arc that I have, and my second arc is, let's say, here. One arc and second arc. Clear? Then assuming S to be the center, and assuming S to be the center and the same the arc of the same radius, you have to mark arc on both the sides again, such that the two arcs that you have on both the sides of this line segment RS, they should cut each other. Okay. Now all you have to do is you have to join this, the point of intersection of the two arcs on the either side of this RS using a ruler. So let's say I'm joining them. Clear? Let's say this is my figure. 1 second, I have to change them. All right. So what will happen is this perpendicular bisector which I have drawn, this is a perpendicular bisector of this line segment SR or RS, you can say. Now this perpendicular bisector is going to intersect QS at some point, and you are going to call that particular point as P. Understood? That's what we did here. And after that, you are going to have your last step. What is that last step? You have to join PR. After joining PR, you are going to get your triangle automatically. So I am going to join my PR here. I'm going to join my PR here. So when I join my PR, I got my triangle PQR. So P is here, Q is here, R is here, and here this PQ plus PR, that will automatically be equals to B centimeter. Understood? That's exactly what you need to do whenever you are provided the base, one of the base angle, and the sum of any like sum of the other two sides of the triangle. These are the steps that you need to follow as far as the construction of triangle is concerned. I hope it is very clear to all of you. Please go through it. Ask me if you have any query in it. Done? Okay. So now we have to draw, like we are going to take an example to learn or to apply the concept that we just learned. Okay, so here, what are we provided? You are provided the value of BC equals to 5 centimeter. You are provided angle ABC that's equals to 60 degrees. So here, this is going to act as base. That value is going to act as base angle. Okay. And here you are provided, this acts as sum of other two sides. Sum of other two sides. Understood? So we are provided all the information that we need to draw this particular figure. As discussed just now, what is our first step? Our first step is actually to draw the base, which is equals to 5 centimeter here. So let's assume this is my base BC, which is equal to 5 centimeter. This is B, that's C, and the length is 5 centimeter. Understood? So this is my very first step. What was my second step? My second step was to draw the base angle which was provided to me. So here the base angle is equal to 60 degree, and 60 degree can easily be drawn using compass. Okay. So assuming B to be the center, you have to mark an arc of any radius. And one second, let me draw this arc once again. So assuming B to be the center, you mark an arc of any radius. Okay. Then assuming this point to be the center, the first arc that you are going to have, that is going to give you 60 degree. So you join B to that point and you will get 60 degree. Okay. So this angle that you got here, this angle is going to be your 60 degree. Okay. Now, what is the sum of other two sides? You have the sum of other two sides is equals to 8.5 centimeter. So let us call this as Bx. Okay, that's x. All right. So because the sum of other two sides that you have, that's equals to 8.5 centimeter. So what you have to do is you have to assume B as a center. So assuming B as a center, you have to mark an arc whose length is equal to 8.5 centimeter on it. Let's say that arc cuts it here, and I'm going to call it, let's say, R. All right. So this BR that you have, it is going to be equals to 8.5 centimeter. That's your third step. And what is the next step you have? In the very next step, you have to join R and C using ruler or scale. So let us join it. Okay. So we have joined RC. Clear? Now, what was the next step? The second last step. In the second last step, you are supposed to draw the perpendicular bisector of this line segment RC you have. And to draw perpendicular bisector, what you have to do is first you have to assume C to be the center, and more than half of this, more than half length of this line segment that you have to mark one arc here, and you have to mark one arc here. Okay, clear? That's what you have to do. Then assuming R to be the center and the arc of same length, you have to mark one arc here. These two arcs will cut each other, and one arc here. Understood? Now what you need to do? All you need to do is you need to join these two arcs. One second, let me make this arc again. You need to join these two arcs. Clear? Using a ruler. So let's join them. Clear? Now this perpendicular bisector which we have drawn, although it's not looking like a perpendicular bisector, but it is. Okay. So this perpendicular bisector that we have drawn, it is going to cut this BR that we have, whose length is equal to 8.5 centimeter at some point, and you are going to call that particular point where it cuts BR equals to A. Okay. Now all you have to do is you have to join A to C. All you have to do is you have to join A to C. When you will do that, you will automatically get your required triangle, that is ABC. And in this triangle ABC, your AB plus AC, that will be equals to 8.5 centimeter. And this is exactly what you were supposed to do in this problem. I hope it's very clear to all of you. Go through it and ask me if you have any query in it, guys. So I hope it's very clear to all of you. Yep, you can go through it. Ask me if you have any query before we move ahead. Here, they have mentioned the steps of construction as well, guys, for you. First step is you have to draw a line segment whose length is equal to 5 centimeter as given in the problem. Okay. And after that, what you have to do is you have to draw angle which is equals to 60 degree. That's the second important point. All right. And after that, assuming B as a center, you have to mark an arc of length equals to 8.5 centimeter on this BX. After that, you need to draw the perpendicular bisector of CD, which is going to meet this BX or BD that you have at some point, and you are going to call it A. After that, you just need to join A to C. So here you will observe that this AB plus AC that you are going to have, automatically the sum of these two sides will be equals to 8.5 centimeter as provided in the problem here. Is that clear to everyone? Clear? All right. So here we have three questions based on the three concepts that you have to practice as a homework, guys. Two questions, sorry. In the first, you have to use ruler and compass. You have to construct 4 times of XYZ, and if XYZ is provided to you equals to uh, uh, 20 degree, then you have to draw 4 times of XYZ. Let's see how you draw it. Okay, and after that, the second is construct an isosceles triangle with whose two equal sides measure 6 centimeter each and whose base is this, and draw the perpendicular bisector of base and shows that it passes through opposite vertex. That's excellent. You have to try these two problems as a homework. In case you are not able to do these two problems or you get stuck anywhere, feel free to get in touch with your Ask IITians expert here. She will definitely help you out. And so let us quickly revisit the concept that we covered in today's session. The very first thing we learn is basic construction, where we were having two subtopics. The first subtopic was how we can draw the bisector of any angle. The second subtopic is how we can draw the perpendicular bisector of any line segment. The third topic we discussed is how a triangle can be constructed when you are provided base, when you are provided one of the base angle, and you are provided the sum of other two sides. I hope these topics are very clear to all of you. So that's it from this session. Thank you so much for attending. See you all in the next session. Goodbye.